Hello and welcome back to Jazz Bass Secrets. I'm Cyrus Sink. In this lesson, we're going to combine the two previous approach patterns that we learned, scale from above and chromatic from below. Scale from above, chromatic from below. There are two ways to do this. We're going to apply this to triads, seventh chords, and the modes of the 2-5-1 progression. First, let's look at the B-flat triad, the one chord, and use this new pattern. This, of course, can be done in 2 octaves. Using a different rhythm, of course. Various rhythms can be used. This can also be transposed in different ways, such as we did before. Okay. Always experiment with the idea. Next, let's look at this same idea as applied to the B-flat major 7th chord. Okay, so we're going to do a 7th chord this time. Again, can be done in 2 octaves, different rhythms. Sorry, I improvised a little at the end there. Okay, next let's apply this idea to the 2 chord, the C minor triad. Of course, continuing up the octaves as you see fit. You can use various patterns to descend as well. Okay, let's look at the C minor 7th chord with the same idea. Different rhythms, different patterns, keep experimenting. Let's look at the dominant chord, both the triad and the 7th chord built on F, the 5 chord in this key. Okay. Let's look at the 7th chord, F7th. Now let's look at another way that we can use that approach note pattern in a 4-note grouping, which would be applicable to 8ths and 16ths. Such as on the B-flat major triad, we'll do this pattern, scale above, the chord tone, chromatic below, and the chord tone, such as this example on the B-flat triad. Etc. up and down the instrument. Okay, let's look at that as applied to the C minor triad, the 2 chord. A lot of tunes, sorry. Okay, let's apply that to the F triad. Sorry, I was going to play the 7th. Let's do the F7th chord. Okay, that can be applied to all 7th chord types, that idea. Now let's apply these chromatic approaches to the notes of the B-flat major scale. We'll use the first chromatic approach pattern, scale above, chromatic below, and then our tone. So let's do the B flat major scale using this approach pattern. That can be done in 2 octaves, of course, and using different rhythms. Let's apply the same idea to the 2 chord using the Dorian mode. Again, that was done fairly slowly. You can increase the tempo to make it more exciting, change the rhythms, anything you want to do with it is fine. Let's look at the Mixolydian mode built off the F, the 5 chord. Again, 2 octaves and various rhythms will bring these ideas to life. Let's look at the other chromatic approach and apply it to the modes of the 2-5-1 progression. This approach is, let's apply it to the B flat major scale. Apply it now to the C Dorian mode. Okay, and lastly to the Mixolydian mode based on F. Rhythms can be varied to create interest. Also, other registers may be used. For example, make up your own variations and experiment with different tempos and articulations. In our next lesson, we'll cover various double chromatic approaches. Stay tuned for more.